When I tell people I'm in HR, I get one of two reactions. It's either you're in HR or so does that mean you just fire people all day? I came in like not willing to change myself at work. I'll never forget my first day in HR. My team had a dinner. They had a team dinner to welcome me into the company. Okay, this is corporates. I'm sitting at the dinner table and they're trying to ask about me, and so someone asked, they're like, "Hey Kenny, what kind of music do you like?" My answer word for word was, "I like gangster rap." And I look up, no one knew how to feel. I had good leaders who were willing to like accept that I'm not the traditional HR person, but they sensed that I had good intentions. And I also remember around that same time telling them, I'm like, look, I'm telling you I have good intentions. Now I may not have the good impact, and if I don't, then that's a blind spot for me and I'm working on that. And I ask that you work with me and at least recognize that I have good intentions. And I were able to have leaders that gave me chances where I did have those blind spots. And I will say, because I never changed who I am, I think it paid off for me and them because now I love my job way more. I'm not the traditional HR person, which really has been the perspective that so many projects, teams, companies, groups of people have really needed. But what has made me so different is that I've never taken myself so seriously. So again, around that same time, and I can't believe I said all this stuff given that this was like my first impression of the team. In that same meeting, I was like, guys, you have to realize, like, I feel like sometimes people don't realize that, we're all just monkeys on a big spinning rock. And I can't believe I said that in a corporate meeting with my new team. But I appreciate looking back, one, that somehow it landed good as that can land in a corporate meeting. But I really appreciated what I was getting at there is like, guys, let's not take ourselves so seriously. I think when I first entered corporate, I immediately realized how many people take themselves seriously. And luckily, this was a good flip. Let me see, can I get a light over here? Yeah. I'm always doing creative things in the traditional route of HR, which has so much room for growth and creativity that it feels very meaningful and impactful. And I also feel appreciated because now that I'm coming in with this fresh perspective, you start to awaken something in your coworkers when you show up authentically in a space that's traditionally not. I'm actually really proud of that flip there. I didn't get a lot of splatter. I think you get a little bit of more controlled flip. So I think if you just kind of do it so crazy, you're gonna get that. They say in jiu-jitsu too, when you're practicing moves, you want to go real slow. I think it's the same with the pancake flip, and I'm starting to realize that. See, this is why people ask me why I do jiu-jitsu. It translates into everything, even flipping my pancakes. All right, it's about pancake time. It's funny, when you join HR and you're applying for companies, the biggest advice they give you when you're interviewing is when they ask you why HR, do not say it's because you're a people person. Everyone says that. And it's funny because when they told me that, that was hard for me because I felt like relative to others, like there was something there about me being a people person and why I wanted to go in HR. And I get why you don't want to say that because it's like, what does that really mean? It's like, are you extroverted? Are you, I think what it meant for me is that I care for people. I enjoy doing things that are meaningful but not easy. I mean, essentially, part of my job in HR is having hard conversations for a living because that's what you have to do. And, as not fun as that may sound on the surface, it's very meaningful. If you're able to keep who you really are in that process, you'll be really good at having hard conversations and getting good at doing meaningful things in life. And so I encourage you to, either go in HR if that's an option because it will just translate into being a better human. And if not, then maybe just be cool to HR people because, really what we're trying to do, what the cool HR is trying to do is create a win-win for both the company and people, which really creates a better win-win because then we make more money and people are happier. It's funny because there's that term like, oh, cool HR. Cool HR traditionally means like HR who's willing to like not report you if you do something bad. But I don't really like that definition of cool HR because I think I am cool HR, but I mean, I'm gonna like stay to doing my job and I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. Like if you're doing something shambles, like we gotta get you out of here, buddy. We're all trying to make money. We're trying to make a living here. You know, that's not how we hold ourselves at work. So what I really think, I think cool HR should have a different meaning. To me, cool HR is that genuine understanding of HR's role of trying to find the best for the company and people and really make it a win-win while meeting someone where they are and being grounded and being humble. You know, maybe cool HR is really just not being on your high horse and being willing to just meet people where they are authentically and just help them out and be reasonable. So by that definition, I am cool HR. I do think HR is cool. It gives me such a good diverse balance in life. You know, it's so interesting, like making YouTube videos, doing all these different things that, you know, traditionally an HR person wouldn't do, I guess. I only say that because I feel like HR, people view that as like being like an accountant. Like, you know, when I first went into HR, I'm like, oh, am I gonna have to be like corporate Kenny over here? But that's really not the case, and it's such a fulfilling, freeing, creative, meaningful job that I'm just feeling so blessed to have done this now for 4 years and really like genuinely stay myself while growing in HR. And I guess that's the biggest takeaway. If no matter what your job is, you know, being able to genuinely stay yourself, like you may not progress as quickly and you may have to go through some really rough patches of trying to figure out why is who I am not in alignment with who I am expected to be. You know, you really have to come to terms with that. But I think for me, not changing who I am and thinking about who people expect me to be in this role as a good HR person, I've actually had to grow as a person and get rid and trim all the fat of the things that like the role of the person I'm trying to be, like a good HR person, wouldn't be proud of these things. You know, like you have to come into grips with some lifestyle changes, to some lifestyle choices that may not be in alignment with who you should be. And although people say you should separate work, you know, you should separate your work and life, I think that if you have an alignment with the people at work, that it is a safe space and we're going to be human and be ourselves, that you can actually merge those two and just live as someone who can look themselves in the mirror and really be a better person and grow and really do the right thing in all circumstances. So I feel like merging who you are for work, like merging your work and life really tests you to have to do the right thing, but it's so worth it once you do, and then you essentially live every day enjoying your life because you never have to change, or there's really no boundaries then between like who you are in your work. Not having a boundary and just always being yourself and just trying to find meaning and find interesting things and do cool things, no matter if you're working or not, keeps life always fun. HR is cool. And it's pancake time, even cooler. Well, not as meaningful, but just as cool.